Well, my next guest is a journalist who has covered public education for 30 years. Her latest book looks at the culture wars playing out in classrooms and school board meetings across the country, and the school moms who've become the frontline defenders. Welcome to New Day, Lauren Pappano. We are so glad to have you here.
Thank you, Amity.
So what compelled you to write this book in this moment?
Whew. Well, I didn't plan to write the book. I didn't even want to write the book. But as someone, as you pointed out, who's covered education for 30 plus years, what I saw happening around the country, I realized was not about education. It was about something entirely different.
So you felt compelled to do this?
Absolutely
as a duty.
compelled. Yes.
You say well-funded and well-organized extremists are using public schools as a platform to gain political power. Why target the public school system?
Well, that is a fantastic question because public schools touch everyone. And public schools have been a place where people from all backgrounds came together in common cause for kids. I mean, as a PTO mom myself, even going to public schools myself, I never knew what anyone's political bent was, and I didn't care because it did not matter.
Yeah.
And what we've seen is we've seen far-right actors mobilize to use the public schools as a political platform, and I think that's wrong.
I will say that I have seen in the past, I remember growing up in the 90s in Los Angeles, and there was all these scandals in education at the time. They were talking about sex education. Should you give condoms or not? As someone who's covered education for 30 years, how would you compare what's happening today with situations like that in the past?
Well, absolutely. I was covering education during the sex ed battle. And what happened, the way that evolved was that there was a lot of concerns about AIDS, obviously. And so sex ed curriculum, which had long existed, needed to be updated to include homosexuality, talk of condoms. And when that happened, you saw a huge pushback on the far right by Christian Coalition, other groups that did not want that. And that was the recent origin of the phrase parental rights.
Right.
And you hear people objecting to sex ed based on parental rights.
So are we still seeing that being used for those who are fighting back?
Parental rights has become one of these catchwords. The fact of the matter is that parents have rights, and they always have had rights.
Right.
And more important than that, parents have influence. So the idea that we need, in legislatures now, we are seeing parental rights bills being introduced. We don't need those things because parents already have all of those. And what they are is a tool for really kind of attacking, applying oversight, and impinging on what happens in schools and classrooms.
More government getting in the way?
It's more government oversight for things, and the bills that get written are very vague and difficult to understand.
So I'll tell you this, I was in the PTA for several years. The president of our PTA, phenomenally intelligent woman, just worked so hard. The two women who actually handled it together, just both phenomenally intelligent women. These people are on the front lines of this, right? And how can these parents, mothers, fathers, how can they make a difference?
Well, they are making a difference, and you're exactly right. I mean, as a PTO mom myself, I baked, scones for the teacher appreciation breakfast and helped sell wrapping paper and candy bars. Parents and moms have particularly always been super organized and networked and fabulous at pulling people together. But what we're seeing now is that those moms who were doing that work to support the school are now supporting the school in a new way. And what they're doing is they're starting Facebook groups and then 501(c)(3)s. They are digging into school board policy. They're digging into legislative initiatives. They are explaining to people what is going on, because parental rights sound fabulous until you understand what's behind the motivation for using it as a tool.
Yeah. Would you suggest maybe, because all the PTAs are kind of organized by district, and then there's the state level PTA. Would you suggest that parents, moms go to that state level to try to organize in a grander scale, or
Well,
just to
it
stay
is.
where they're at?
There is some organizing. There are groups like Red Wine and Blue, which is very fun and sassy. And
I will join that.
Yeah, no, they're great, and they have like handbooks and how to organize, how to get your friends involved.
Okay.
And I think the important thing is what this moment has taught us is that we need to pay attention and be involved.
Okay.
We need to know who's running for school board and what they stand for.
Yeah. I got to ask before I let you go, I know not everybody who's watching our program is a parent. What should people do who aren't parents? Why should they care about this?
Well, this is our democracy. These children are our future. What we have here is an attack on so many of the children who attend schools. In 1986, 70% of those children were white. In 2020, 46%. The demographics of our public schools have changed. 90% of children in America attend public schools. We need them to work for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for coming, for being compelled to write the book, for waking us all up. We appreciate it. It's such a fascinating read. And if you'd like to hear more from Laura, she has a book event tonight, January 31st at Elliott Bay Book Company. Go check it out.
Great.